Greetings, everyone. My name is Karen Davino. I'm the superintendent of schools in Vernon, New Jersey. And what you see before you is a Zoom screen filled with wonderful professionals who are going to talk to you today about the importance of our special education program as we open our school district in September. I know people are filled with a lot of anxiety. This is a really, really hard time for so many people, for parents and for children, and even for our teachers and for our administrators. We've been through a tremendous amount of work to try to get things up and ready for you for September. Just a reminder, we don't start school until September 8th. That was a recent change. Our teachers will be in the schools September 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, so that they have the opportunity to use some of the learning tools that they've learned all summer long and how to really improve their pedagogy and have the best delivery of instruction for your children when they return either to live instruction on Tuesday, September 8th, which is the Tuesday after Labor Day, or if they've chosen the exclusively virtual option for your learning opportunity. So today we're going to take some time and talk about special education. We're putting out a series of podcasts this week for each one of our schools so that you can see what's happening around the district, really trying to keep our parents informed so that you know what's happening and what to expect in just a few short weeks. So like I said, I'm really, really lucky to have teachers here with me, case managers, administrators, to talk just a little bit about what's happening in special education. So the first question that I'm going to ask is of Mr. Manis, and I'm going to ask him to respond to what has the Special Education Reopening Committee been working on? Jarrett?
So we've really had two primary goals since we began meeting in May. Our first goal was to identify issues and potential issues that students with disabilities have been dealing with due to COVID and due to this new remote learning experience. Secondly, was to brainstorm and identify solutions to the issues related to reopening that are going to assist our students, our teachers, and our parents.
Thank you. I think it's so great that you're working hard to brainstorm some of the issues we're facing. Thank you, and thank the committee. You know, when a group of educators gets together and starts to talk about the challenges, they identify barriers and then they come up with solutions. And I'm really grateful that that's been one of the focus areas for the committee. And we've already started to see some of those results. There's just been some tremendous work coming out of the committee. So thank you very much. I think Mrs. Cook is going to respond to the next one. This question is, what have you been able to come up with to help stakeholders as we return in September? So Dana, this is you.
Our committee, we've collaborated to produce two working documents or framework to assist stakeholders. The one was for teachers and another one is for families. Families, you'll be able to find the resources that we've come up with on the VTSD website under the reopening tab on the homepage. And without being overly prescriptive, we felt it was really important to offer teachers and families with strategies, resources, and also materials to assist them with either in-person or remote instruction so we can really meet the needs of our diverse learners.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, I think in the spring, remember, March 13th was the last day that we were in school, and Vernon actually closed before the state required schools to close. But during that time, it was like flipping a switch, right? We went from, live instruction with our children here, and we told children to take their Chromebooks home, and some kids thought they were going home for 2 weeks, and here we are at the end of August, 6 months really not being together. So I think the resources are really important. I'm sure the parents at home will really appreciate that. I think, Erica, you had something else you wanted to share as well in that regard?
Yes, our teacher resource document offers specific strategies and resources for each of our special education programs, including preschool disabled, ABA autism, behavioral disabilities, life skills, pull-out resource, and in-class resource, as well as overall strategies and resources for all of our teachers and learners.
Yeah, and that's really important. So parents at home, if your child is in one of those programs, particularly preschool disabled, ABA autism, BD life skills, pull-out, etc., it would be really important to get familiar with that resource. I think that's great. Laura, what did you want to share with our families in regards to this topic?
Well, we also created a parent slide presentation, which offers resources and strategies to assist their students with in-person and remote learning, as well as the issues related to COVID and the difficulty of navigating home and school during these turbulent times. We actually divided the presentation into specific topics, which will help guide parents and their children through this new normal. And Tracy's actually going to explain one of the websites that we use throughout the entire presentation.
So one resource we found extremely helpful is the IRIS Center's COVID-19 Parent Resource page, which can be found on the district's parents presentation. It provides user-friendly information on the best ways to support your child's learning during the pandemic. The page is broken down into modules, including a module on strategies to support the unique challenges for students with disabilities.
Thanks so much, Tracy, and thank you, Laura. I think Karen Sokol, who's our supervisor of pre-K, is going to take us through some of our parent slides.
Before we do that, if I can just compliment what Tracy just said, another important link you can find under the reopening tab is the Vernon Township School District. This is a new tool, a new supportive tool. It's specifically for parents and students. It's a Google site. You can navigate various pages, different tabs, all sorts of links. You can almost consider it a one-stop shopping resource for all the tools and supports that you might need at home, specifically to address some of those barriers and come up with obstacles that you mentioned earlier, Ms. Davino. For example, there are social stories. If a student is feeling anxious, there's social stories about wearing a mask, social distancing, how you need to interact according to new guidelines and protocols. There's also incentive charts. There's a host of incentive charts to help students and parents monitor their own progress at school and to help with scheduling. I know that was one thing that we found very difficult, so it can help us organize our day, set a goal, work towards it. There's also a variety of links to visual and auditory schedules and schedule support. So you can post a large timer so that when you're working from home, you can see how much time you've allotted, how much time you want to go a little bit longer. And there are also different teacher generated and teacher created materials on there as well. And this is a site, it originated in the pre-K, but it evolved and it can certainly be used for any learner. I forgot to mention that there's also an important tool in there that a lot of our parents found helpful so far, a parent availability card. So if parents are working from home while their student is working next to them, so that they don't interrupt each other, there's little visual supports that they can display to say, like, give me 5 minutes, or that kind of thing. Again, those time constraints and overcoming those obstacles. So if you get a chance, it's under the reopening tab, and it will support a host of barriers and help you come up. Obstacles.
Yeah, that's so great, Karen, and I really appreciate you sharing that with everybody at home. The great thing about that is everybody needs tools to get through this. We have to navigate through a space that we've never navigated through before. So those things are super important. I'm so glad that you mentioned them. So we know that our students are going to receive instruction either remotely or in person. So how will related services look for our students? Mr. Kendler, are you going to be taking over this portion for a bit?
Sure. So our goal is to provide as many related services as we can in person because we know how beneficial that is for our students. But we also understand some parents are uncomfortable having students return back into the building. So we're going to continue to provide remote services to any family who chooses to remain virtual. So we're going to have both options available for our learners.
Yeah, that's so important. Kristen, Ms. Goodenkoff is on the call with us today. She's actually our supervisor of guidance. What's the plan moving forward for the committee?
We plan to keep working on the documents as the situation evolves. We think it's important to provide ongoing support to our teachers, students, and parents as students return to the classroom or participate remotely. We know that unforeseen issues will arise, but we want to be a source of support and assistance for our special education community.
Thank you. Before we move on to where parents can go if they have questions, while I have Ms. Goodenkoff, I wanted to take a moment to celebrate our trauma-informed educators. This is a new program that we have this year available for all students, virtual or in person. Can you talk just a little bit about that, Kristen, what you've been working on with a lot of folks throughout the district?
Absolutely. We have a team, and I call them a team because they are amazing. They work so well together. And we actually just created a survey for students that will be getting sent out on September 1st. So all parents can start keeping an eye out for that. It will be sent to the parents of second and third graders. And then for students in Lounsbury and above, those documents will be sent to their emails. But more information will come out through a school messenger. And then all parents from preschool through high school level will have a survey going out for them also. And it's just basically a needs assessment so we can better serve students, make sure that we are reaching everyone's needs. And if anyone needs any help, we want to make certain that we are providing support as soon as possible. So look for school messenger on September 1st.
Thank you so much. And it's really important that we're looking at the trauma-informed approach to education because, you know, COVID-19 has impacted the state in different ways, right? In Sussex County, we're quite remote. We've been very lucky that we actually have the second lowest number in the state right now, only to Salem County. Sussex County is considered a green. We're at a very low risk, thankfully. It doesn't mean that we can be less vigilant. Remember to wear your mask, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. All those things are super important. And if we stay the course, I think that we'll continue to come out of that. But the trauma-informed team is really important, not just to our special education students, but also to our general ed population. It's really to make sure that children are navigating through this with as much success and support as possible. You were just talking about support, so I'm so glad that you elaborated on that. Mrs. Von Salzen is our supervisor of special services from grades 6 through 12. Where can parents go, Cheryl, if they have questions about their child's special education program or related services?
Well, as the school year begins, you will no doubt have many, many questions. And we just want you to know we are here to help parents, families, every step of the way. We encourage your active and ongoing collaboration with your child's teachers, case managers. Both Adam and I are always here to assist you with any aspect of your child's program. Give us a call or an email at any time. All of our parents of students with IEPs will be receiving a welcome letter. It'll be coming in approximately a week. It will have your case manager's name on it. It will have an FAQ with commonly asked questions, and it's a list of resources to help you as we transition back to school.
Thanks, Cheryl. And, you know, I think I wanted to just circle back to the information that Karen Stokel shared. You know, the reopening section of the website is really, really important. So for our families at home, if you're on vtsd.com, which is our school district website, there's a banner across the top, and on the top right, it says reopening. If you click there, there are a ton of resources. FAQs are there. Some of the special education resources that we're talking about today are there. Podcasts, Board of Education meetings, all of that information is there for families. Information on transportation. It really has become kind of, like Karen said, the one-stop shop where you can get all the information that you really need. We are looking forward to seeing all of you. We know that you're nervous. We know that you're anxious. One of the things we've talked about when you see the buildings, they look different. We have one-way hallways now. We have one-way stairwells now. We have reduced capacity. We have very few children in our buildings because of the exclusively virtual option. Remember, about 30% of our families chose that. Then there's 70% left, and half are in any building at any given time, right? So we're at about 35% capacity for each of our schools. It makes those numbers lower, which means we can achieve social distancing. We've got hand sanitizer in classrooms, in hallways, in entryways. We're the only district in Sussex County that is taking temperatures of children as they come off the bus in the morning. We're adding as many safety measures as possible to try to keep our faculty and our staff safe. All of our filters have been changed this summer and all of our unit vents and HVACs. I could go on and on about the protocols and the things that we've done. I really just want our families to understand that we are doing everything in our possibility to try to make things healthy and safe for you and your children. And our teachers have worked really hard in strengthening their pedagogy. They've attended hundreds of hours of workshops already, and they really are working hard to be engaged with you and with your children when they return to school with us, either virtually or live on September 8th. So please take a look at the website. and get familiar and give us a call if you have any questions. Thank you so much to all of my wonderful guests today on the screen, supervisors, administrators, and of course our fabulous teachers here in Vernon. Great job, you guys. Can't wait to see everybody in September.